Kev, no Laverne. We're on video number 6. Not numerically, but this is kind of the install. Um, I had to drop the last video that I made where Laverne came in late. If you guys saw it and you don't find it there now, there's a reason for that, and I apologize. I got a little too. My approach to the camera is to treat it like a friend, and I like that approach, but sometimes that can make for some loose lips. I've noticed, and I apologize for that. And so I had to put it on, put it on private. Not a big deal, to be honest with you, but I'm a very responsible type person. I couldn't abide by what I saw afterwards. So I apologize about that. We're moving forward. Lesson learned. There's a few things I want to talk about today. First of all, hi Laverne. I doubt she's watching right now. I'm very, very worried about her, but that's neither here nor there, and I won't discuss it any longer. The person that I want to say hello to, that I want to give credit to, or the people that I want to, is our Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading and David A. Both of these two have been working tirelessly to help target individuals for some time now. So give them a thank you if you can. Let them know that you appreciate it. Appreciation, hard work is easy. Appreciation does not come in rivers. I can tell you. So I would ask that you do that. It's telling me that my microphone is being a little funny. I want to make it louder, but I don't know how to do that. I've got it hooked up to this thing. My guess is it's having some help if you catch my drift. So I will try to speak up. I noticed that last time it was low. This time I moved it from the computer audio to my headphone audio. It does not seem to have helped the situation, but that's where we're at. So thank you, though, to those people. Thank you to Laverne, and God bless everyone that I just mentioned. Now, there's a few things I need to talk about. Number one, I want to talk about the Forrest Gump metric. I've spoken about this before in another video. It's important. Do the people in our lives, are they being beneficial, or are they not? Are the things that they are saying, do they look like they're meant to be constructive or destructive? There's been a few incidents that I've had. Well, I would say relationship situations with TIs, and I'd like to discuss a couple of them. One of them is a great person. He and I just didn't see eye to eye at first. We just, they did their tricks, the perps, and it worked on us. But we recognized it and we made things right. The second one is another person that there seems to be an understanding gap between the two of us. And so my approach is to be essentially I'm a relaxed sort of a dude. I approach things. I don't take life that serious. Look, I'll be honest with you. My view is, I think therefore I am, and all bets are off after that. I tend to look at life the way that the comedian from Watchmen does. It's all a big fucking joke. You know what I mean? If you can prove to me otherwise, I'm all ears. But that's what I've seen. It's ridiculous, man. And I'm just trying to hang in there best I can. So, but I will take it as serious as long as it's able to be taken serious. But still, my approach is a comical one because of these kind of these viewpoints. So I was just being me, and but I am limited in what it is that I can what it is I do. I mean, we all have our wheelhouses. These people belong over here. These people belong. This person feels good doing that, and I feel I know that I have my limitations. Clint Eastwood said a man's got to know his limitations, and I do. My limitations are very distinct to me, and I try to stay within my wheelhouse, and that doesn't go over well with some people because they want to control you. They want to judge you. They want you to do what they want you to do. You know what I mean? And I've just experienced some of this. Now, here's the thing: I'm not always really good at relating to most people. I've had my nose in books and this and that for the majority of my life. I'm just getting them out of there and trying to discuss things. I don't always relate well to others. I thought maybe this person that I'm talking about would be able to help me do that sort of a thing. I thought that this take charge kind of attitude that this person was taking might be helpful to me. I could use somebody that could help translate what I've got to say to other people. Didn't end up being the case. It was just I wasn't doing the right things. They look, they immediately they insisted that I reveal myself as a target individual. They when I provided a bio, it wasn't good enough for them. They're like, "What is this?" You know, judging me as if they were like my instructor or something. I mean, there's no need for that, and there's no place for it, and I don't have any patience for it. You know, I'll be honest with you, straight up, I don't tolerate fools well. Okay, and that I'm not saying that person is a fool, but that was foolish stuff for sure. That's not going to go over well with me, and I wouldn't put that on anyone else. So it's not a situation of I wouldn't do it to you, so please don't do it to me. That's basically all I'm saying. I think that basically what am I saying to this? Well, we have to practice some patience and forgiveness and everything with the TI community. We have to recognize our powerlessness. Our power stops at the end of our nose. People are going to be who they're going to be. We have to come to terms with that. We have to just be okay with that. It's called practicing acceptance. And it's the key to inner peace. It's the key to serenity. The more okay you are with the things that you don't have power over, the more inner peace you're going to have. And that's how I arrive at mine. That's why even though all this stuff happened, and I'm sure it was meant to get my goat to upset me because it was clear that that's what this person was trying for by the end. They were being insulting, they were playing themes, and they were doing the various things. So I just put them on block, but they didn't get my goat. They didn't get to me in that way. I'm sorry you failed. Just not who I am. It's difficult to get to me in that way. And the perps could have leaned in on it and they didn't do it, or if they did, it didn't work well enough. You know how these things work. So no, but I had to put them on block. Unfortunately, it's a shame. You know, whenever that sort of thing happens, somebody, I can hear somebody asking, "Do you think this person's a perp?" Man, I don't know. I don't know, but what I know that is, when I apply the Forrest Gump metric, I realize that I can't have them in my life, and to me, that's all that really matters. Because this idea of whether somebody is legit or not, whether they're a perp or not, this can't be proven. So it's a fool's errand to even bring it up. It's silly. So why don't we use metrics and things that actually have results that we can use? And that's what I apply with her. She's not this person is not somebody that is good for me. So they're not in my life anymore. Period. Yeah, and I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. Now, I'm trying to move forward. I noticed that the more active I am, the more I write, the more videos I make, the more trouble comes my way. The more resistance they're putting in my path. So that's probably not news to you guys. We can probably expect that sort of thing. Just everything I'm trying to do, something is happening. I can give you an example. I'm trying to push forward a program that will help target individual communities. And I've gotten so few people to say, and all I'm asking for them is that I'm giving them the opportunity to be involved on the ground level. And all I'm asking for them to do is to help distribute stickers of all things that I'm paying for out of pocket. And that's too much for them. And so it makes you realize, you know what, man, if there's going to be help in the TI community, it might have to come from outside the TI community. I might have to hire people outside the TI community to do the things that would help the TIs, because I can't get the organization going. I can't get people to commit. I can't get people to recognize that some things need to be done. Everybody wants to put material out there. Nobody wants to read anybody else's material. I make sure that I go through and pay attention to people's posts. I respond to what they have to say on the groups in Facebook. I give them a thumbs up or whatever. I post on there. I make sure that they know that they're not just a voice in the wilderness. It's not just it's being heard at least by somebody. And I don't know everything, but I know this that TIs need that. We need to know that what we're doing is worth a damn. I'm busting my ass over here, and I don't see very much in the way of back. Here's the thing: I haven't been doing it for too long, really. I realized that I'm going to have to build an audience, and my audience is not going to look like the audiences that we see out there. I expect it to be considerably smaller, and that's probably correct for me. I don't believe that I'm probably made to reach the masses. There's a certain few that are tuned in to the same kind of notes that my mind plays at, and so those are the ones I'm trying to reach. I mean, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of TIs I think that describes. There's that one woman out there. I can't think of her name right now, Sabrina or something. She's very useful to the TIs, but she's also very critical of the TIs, and rightly so. I've been doing the same sort of a thing, but more about targeted justice. I wrote a paper about it that was questioning it. I did a lot of research that went into it. If there's any questions about it, I can post the rest of the statistics and everything, and it doesn't make them look any better. I withheld that stuff from the article. I didn't think it was necessary, but they're there in case somebody needs it. I think that criticism is something that's necessary for the movement. It's absolutely necessary, and I think she fills a void there. It's necessary for what she does. In the spirit of criticism, I would say that speaking to us like we're perps is not the way to go, and that perhaps she's catching flies with vinegar. But my suggestion would be to recognize who you're speaking to, realize that we've gone through terrible things, maybe worse than you, and show a little bit of respect. And that's what I try to do for the TI community, you guys. Whether it happens or not, whether people receive it that way or not is something else. That's the signal I put out. It can get, muddled up, turned around, and screwed up, and by the time it gets into our brains, it can look like something else completely. We're target individuals, so that's how things go. Let's see what else we've got here. How much time we've been doing this? 11 minutes and 50 seconds. I want to point out that Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading does a live show that starts pretty soon here. I don't want to lose my audience, but I probably don't have any anyway. So if there is anybody out there, I'm going to try to stop so that we can go watch her at that time. Let's see here. Hey there. Somebody just joined, it looks like. Oh, Solande. Hi there. I didn't even know that this thing was here, you guys. This is the first time I've seen this chat thing. So thank you for joining. I'm going to try to finish by 7 so that we can all go watch Lorraine's show because it's so good. Yeah. But so I just got through. I may be whining to some degree, and I apologize for that. But there's a couple. We do have a little over 15 minutes. Let me look at a couple of articles now because I had to tank last show. Let's look at what we did, what I covered last time, and then I'll have to come up with what that was again. Okay, it was these things here. Poisoning the well. Poisoning the well is a logical fallacy, and what it means, sort of. Well, I have a dictionary definition here. To poison the well is to preemptively present adverse information to an audience with the intention of discrediting or ridiculing what another person intends to say. So you can understand that the way that it said poisoning well, they put the poison in the well, so by the time you get there, you're poisoned. So they poison the situation before you arrive. And they do that to us as target individuals. I got into a discussion with another target individual, and we had our differences, but it didn't matter. We went to bed, and we were going to, go about our business. But I thought about that person when I woke up the next day, and all this front-loaded emotion came with it. And I recognized that it was false because they screwed up. They made it like ham-fisted style. It was crude, and it was very obvious. So I was like, oh, I see what's going on. It gave me the idea to write this article. On top of that, there was an addendum article. It's not called addendum. That's, if you're looking for that one, you'll be. This one is called the TI Trust Trap. There is an article called addendum. It starts that way, but it's an addendum to a different article. So the TI Trust Trap. And it goes on about why it is that we can't trust each other and how to break the cycle. We've got a few minutes here, so I'm going to try to run through this really fast. In my opinion, it's information worthy of the time. One of the cruelest paradoxes in the target individual experience is this: the trauma that should unite us often becomes the very thing that divides us. It's not just sad, it's engineered that way. This system is designed to fracture trust, isolate support, and confuse instincts. And unfortunately, it's working. Why normal trust building doesn't work for us. In most communities, trust is built gradually through time spent, shared goals, and direct interaction. You meet someone, connect over experiences, and slowly form a bond. But for TIs, it's reversed. Often, the more composed someone seems, the more suspicious they become. If a person is articulate, stable, or calm under pressure, many in the community see that as a red flag, not a sign of strength, but of deception. That's the trap. What that means then is that TIs are programmed to not accept the most capable of us that would do us the most good. I was called, by the person that I was speaking about earlier, they suggested that I might not be legit. And this is not the first time that's happened this week. And I'm sitting here giving my blood, sweat, and tears to this. And between the two of us, I was just trying to go about my business. They kept trying to interject, control me, judge me, etc. The Forrest Gump Metric people. You see what I'm saying? Are are they doing positive things or are they not doing positive things? That's the key. That's how we're going to understand, because there's no, something device I can pull out of my pocket that will tell me whether you're a legit TI or a perp or neither. We just don't have those things yet. Maybe I can get to work on that. Okay, but I don't have it right now. What's really going on? It goes on. Targeting warps emotional regulation. Many of us are under constant emotional manipulation. I can tell you that's true for me. V2K, mood disruption, synthetic paranoia, and triggered loops. This creates an atmosphere where people can no longer tell what feelings are real and what are induced. So the default becomes mistrust, not because we're paranoid, but because our perceptions are being actively tampered with. On top of that, it doesn't take too much. I'll give you an example. If I tried to do something, and this is pretty true to life, and then I run into a little bit of an issue, they're going to pile on the frustration on me, and I'm going to be like, oh, to hell with this. I'm not going to be able to get this done. Nobody's going to understand me. There's no hope here. That can happen really, really quick and easy. And because I've experienced it, I can tell you that's true. So, and then, I'll cool off, and then, cooler heads will prevail, and I'll look at things again, and I'll realize what happened and come back and try to give it another go. And I got to tell you, there's something that I learned in another program, and it goes something like this, and I want to say it clearly. Nothing pays off like restraint of tongue and pen. I think this is an important concept to TIs because they will screw our brains up. We will experience these emotional outbursts. To pull back and wait until that part is over with, and then respond more in the way of factually based, less emotion based, is probably the best way for us to go about things. I love that. Nothing pays off like restraint of tongue and pen. I would extend that to keyboard. So sometimes it's best just to keep our mouths shut. I think, there's that saying, it's better to keep one's mouth shut and be thoughtful than to open it and remove all doubt. That can happen to TIs, I think. So let's move on. Some of us are compromised. Let's be honest. And this is a rough one. I didn't like this. I didn't like having to put this in here, but it's true and it needs to be talked about. Some of us are compromised. Let's be honest, not all of us are thinking clearly. After years of harassment, isolation, and psychological warfare, some in our community have become erratic, controlling, or even hostile. It's not always their fault, but it does mean that working together can be nearly impossible. Even intelligent, well-meaning TIs can swing between ego and fear, attacking the very people trying to help them. We've seen it again and again. And we saw it today, or some of us did. I don't know what to say. I don't want to judge all these people. So my point is, because I don't know what's going on. It can be any one of those things, and I'm not in a position to be able to judge, to be able to discern between the potential possibilities. So I just have to let it go and recognize my powerlessness and walk away. Real clarity becomes a threat. Ironically, the TIs with the most clarity, those who are calm, intelligent, and centered, who the hell does that describe? Get that guy out of here. Are often treated with the most suspicion. That bastard. Why? Because they reflect back what others have lost. It's not about arrogance, it's about contrast. When someone shows up with clean signal in a field of static, it's jarring. It can feel threatening, even if it's the very thing we need most. I had to move away from my other browser. So I'm just looking back here to see if anybody said anything. If anybody's still here, hello. But moving on with the article, how do we fix this? They may not be able to fix everyone, but we can change how we respond, and that's really what I'm speaking to here tonight. Start with compassion. Don't mistake it for agreement. Set boundaries. Step back when somebody's not ready without making them an enemy. Yeah, that's what I did today. Speak clearly, not forcefully. We're all wounded here. Document what you learned. We're not just surviving. We're building a map for others to follow. I feel like I did all four of those things today. So some of us are too far gone. Others are close behind. But there are still a few out there with a clean signal. TIs who haven't lost their mind, their heart, or their sense of what's real. Find them, link up, stay grounded. You're not alone, even if it feels that way. God bless the TIs. That's something I always end with. But I mean it. Not enough of that's not said enough, is it? God bless everybody, I suppose. But how many times do we hear that? God bless the TIs. So I'm asking God to bless the TIs. We could use it. So that's between those two things, it's they both speak to the way that they kind of come at our minds, co-opt them, take them over, fool us, cause havoc, cause issues, screw things up. God knows they've done it to me, and I fell for it in a lot of situations. I really have. None of us are immune to this. You can't be too smart for this. Okay, if you think that that's the case, then that's not true. Now, there's none of us that were. If you're bound by flesh and blood, if you're subject to the trappings of humanity, then this can happen to you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We just got to make the best of it. I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna end on a positive note. One of the things that I noticed was I didn't know who I was before this program. Every time they do something to me, what ends up happening is something not dissimilar to Newton's law of with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. My inner self responds back with something just as powerful and shows me that I'm a tough son of a gun. And I didn't know it. I didn't know what a kind of a badass I am. And they show it to me every day. And they want me to know this, apparently, because that's where every one of these things goes to. It's I learned something about myself on the regular basis. How strong I am, how much I can put up with, how easily I can outsmart them. And I do it regularly. If you don't think so, please look at my article entitled, I'll bet they can't even understand this one, by the way, the title of it, Bizarro Brer Rabbit by Proxy. I challenge you to read that. Actually, the title is the hardest part to understand, but if you look it up, it'll make sense to you. But the suggestion is sound, and it works. I would expect. It's fun to do at any rate. So, and then there's other things that have been coming up. I've moved away from tech recently and moved into recognizing the things that can work for us as individuals against our targeters and other aspects of target individuals. I can move around like that. I never know where I'm going to go. It calls me. I just show up and do whatever it wants me to do. So that's where we're at. We're getting late here. I think I'm just jabbering at this point. I miss Laverne. I'm grateful for Solange being here and whoever else tuned in. This is live here. I don't give anybody any notice hardly. What I do is I just do it live because I like the thrill of the live broadcast. I improv well. I'm a guitarist. My mind is set up for these things. And so when I put myself in these situations, I respond best. I work best under pressure. So that's why I do it. And yeah, thank you so much, Solange. I really definitely appreciate it. I just want us all to support each other. That's why I'm advertising Laverne's show. I mean, not Laverne, Lorraine's show, and trying to finish here so we can get there in time. I just want us all to be one happy community. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of nuts in the same kind of squirrel hole, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyways, God bless the TIs, everybody, and we'll see you next time around. So take care.